chimpanzees in the wild, our closest living relatives. Biologically, they're so close to us, we share 98.7% of the composition of DNA with them. And then, of course, differences in personality, just as between us, nice ones and nasty ones, just like humans. And then showing grief when an infant dies or a child when the mother dies, showing all the human emotions, happiness, sadness, fear, despair, anger, frustration, all those different things. And then, of course, using tools and solving problems of that sort, using a number of different objects as tools in different circumstances. Chimp is slightly under 50, I think. And I'm going to be going there and refreshing myself. It's one of the two that the Jane Goodall Institute runs. We run the biggest one, Chimbunga and Chimp. I personally started two others, which fortunately were taken over because it's very expensive, really expensive. So one in Kenya and one in Uganda, and they're both flourishing. And then there are about 5 others, I think, because there's such a, chimps, baby gorillas, mothers are shot to capture the baby, and they try and illegally sell them in the wildlife trafficking. And of course, we're fighting that. But meanwhile, because it's illegal, the government's able to confiscate any infants that are discovered. And then you can't put them back in the wild. Their mothers are being killed, so they need to go into sanctuaries. So Chimp has chimpanzees from different parts of Africa. I remember one who arrived with the man from, I think it was Nigeria, and this little chimp, aged 4, was dressed in a little suit, a proper suit. He'd had all his hair, face hair, shaved, just left with the hair on his head. His body was shaved so that he looked more human, and he had a little suitcase with other clothes. Poor little thing. So anyway, he was rescued, and he gradually learned to be a chimp. A lot of them haven't learned to be chimps, and some of them never really do, but they all learn to live happily, and they live fulfilling lives, even if they're not really behaving like proper chimps.
Jane, I'd like to talk about Roots and Shoots now, which is one of the most important projects in terms of conservation and also people. It's bringing young people in. It has the roots in Tanzania and the shoots all over the world. I mean, it's in over 50 countries now.
It's actually, we just opened the 70th group in the middle of the Brazilian Amazon just a few months ago. And it began with the fact that I was traveling around the world and meeting young people in the late 1980s who were already losing hope. They were angry, depressed, or mostly just not seeming to care. And when I began asking them, they said, well, you've compromised our future, meaning generations, and there's nothing we can do about it. Yes, we have not only compromised the future of our young people, but stolen it, and we're still stealing it. But is it true there's nothing that can be done? No, I firmly believed then, and I still believe now, there's a window of time. And if we get together and take action, then we can at least slow down climate change and loss of biodiversity. But anyway, to go back, in 1991, 12 high school students in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania from 8 different high schools, they came to tell me about all the things they saw, all the problems. And so they asked me to do something about them. Why isn't the government tackling poaching in our national parks? Why are the children on the streets with no homes? Why is the illegal dynamiting allowed to continue to destroy the coral reefs? And so I said, well, yes, I love Tanzania, but you're Tanzanian. Get your friends together from your 8 schools. We had a meeting of about 30 who cared about what was happening. And at that meeting, Roots and Shoots was born. And the main message was every single individual. That means everybody listening to what I'm saying right now. Every day we make an impact on the planet, and we get to choose what sort of impact we make. But you know, much more important than what I can say to you, you're a group of young people who care, right? Mm. So the great thing is you have a session, you get together and you talk about what you think, what bothers you, what you think needs to change. And then when you talk about what needs to change, then how might we do that? And if you work out a way how you might do it, then you roll up your sleeves and take action. Mm-hmm. So that's the way to find out, because I found that if you're choosing to do something you care about, and you won't all care about the same thing, you'll have different things that you care about. So you can do it in different groups, or you can find somebody from another school who's passionate about what you're passionate about. And that's roots and shoots, growing and spreading. And, so you do something you care about. And then you really get to work. Mm. Yeah. Everyone who joins Roots and Shoots, they realize that by actually doing something, rolling up their sleeves, taking action, then they feel much better. And then they realize that in 70 countries around the world, there are people just like them doing the same sort of things. That gives them, a feeling, yes, we can. And so at the end of every gathering of Roots and Shoots, in fact, I do it at the end of every lecture, get everyone to say, together we can save the world, together we will. Do we have the will? Yes, we will. And because we must.
Together we can, together we will, together we must save the world.
I think she showed us that even through just one person believing in something and standing strong in her beliefs, that you can make an impact towards everyone around you, and that as a community you can help others and make a big difference.
We understand from some of our friends that there have been a few break-ins at Chimp Eden recently. And one of the big focuses and areas of concern is around security. So through the generosity of Hot 1027 listeners, who are the kindest listeners in the world, they donate to conservation endangered wildlife species. They've made it possible that we can donate CCTV camera to the Chimp Eden Sanctuary to safeguard the chimps to the value of 20,000 Rand, and we'd like to make that announcement right now.
Well, that is absolutely fantastic, that we can bring in cameras to detect these horrible people who want to make break-ins, and I suppose steal the chimps and try and sell them. So I would like to say enormous thank you to those listeners who've made this possible. It seems that however abused they've been, any kindness they just gravitate to.